Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen and I'm a dyslexic here to help other dyslexics and their parents. Today we are going to be talking all about self-advocacy. So if you are wondering what it is and how it can help you as a dyslexic, then this video is for you. Let's get into it. What is self-advocacy? Self-advocacy is learning how to speak up for yourself, making your own decisions about your own life, learning how to get information so that you can understand things that are of interest to you, finding out who will support you in your journey, knowing your rights and responsibilities, problem solving, and listening and learning, reaching out to others when you need help and friendship, and learning about self-determination. To break this down into 7 reasons that you need to learn self-advocacy. The first one is learning how your dyslexia affects you. Dyslexia just doesn't affect reading, writing, and spelling. It affects several other things like executive functioning, time management, things like that. So you need to learn exactly how your dyslexia affects you. And once you learn that, you will be able to learn how to speak up and ask for help in those specific areas. So learn how dyslexia affects you. Tip number 2 is learn how you learn best. So if you learn through multisensory like I do, you need to know this information. You need to know that the more you move around when you're learning, the easier it is for you to retain that information. And this way you can speak up and say, I'm not going to understand the information as much if I'm not doing these certain things like sitting on a bouncy ball or getting up and maybe pacing in the back of the room while the teacher's talking. Certain things like that can make it much easier to learn the information because you're doing multiple things at the same time with multisensory. If you want to learn more about multisensory, I'm going to link it in this video right here. Tip number 3 is if your child has an IEP or a 504 plan, help them understand why they have it for their dyslexia, for these specific challenges that do not come easy to them, that come easy to everybody else. So go ahead and take the time to explain to them why they have an IEP so they know that they have specific rights, that they can ask for more information and that they are not being ignored, that they have their rights and learn this early on. Tip number 4 is help your child understand all of their accommodations and why they have them. If they know what their accommodations are and they know that they're not getting them, they can learn how to speak up for themselves and ask for their accommodations. A couple weeks ago, I made a video all about accommodations. And so if you're trying to figure out which accommodations are best for dyslexics, I'm going to link that video right here for you. So go ahead and watch that video or watch it after this one. Tip number 5 follows the IEP. So if they do have an IEP, help them understand what goals they are working for. It becomes much easier for you and the teacher when the child knows what goals they have and why they're working for that. So they can learn, again, to self-advocate for themselves because they understand what's going on. They understand their challenges, but then not to forget to include the advantages of dyslexia and help them also understand the advantages. So when they start learning, this is what is going to take me extra time. This is not going to come as easy. I'm going to have to work harder at these things, but I have specific things that are going to come much easier to me, and that will definitely help. So helping them understand what goals they have in the IEP definitely helps with self-advocacy. What supports does your child have in place? Do they have somebody they can turn to and talk to besides you? Do they have somebody they can go to at school during the day when things get tough? Do they have supports built in? Really, they should have supports in several places. They should have a support system built at home, and most parents are phenomenal at helping their child and giving them the support they need once they learn how to do that. But also making sure that they have a support system in place at school. So some things can be tough and hard and they need to keep it to themselves until the end of the day. That's really hard. Trust me, I know, because I've kept several things and it literally explodes the minute I get home. But if I had somebody to talk to during the day at school and be like, this is what's going on, then a person at school could step in and help. But as a parent, I would make sure that I know who that support person is at the school, and I would check in with them on a regular basis to make sure there aren't things that I could step in and help with. So make sure that you have the support system in place at home and they know that they can turn to you and talk to you, but also have somebody that is at school to help them. Then make sure that the support at school and the support at home are communicating. So this can be one seamless support system to help them and not getting one type of support at home and then a totally different support at school where y'all are saying things that contradict each other. Tip number 7 is for older students, but start helping them understand the laws that govern IEPs and 504s and protect them as individuals with a specific learning disability or dyslexia. Start slow and help them understand that there are laws to protect them. And this is something that will carry over with them into college, and this will be something that carries over with them into the workplace. Because that's one of the things that I didn't understand at the time, is that there were laws to protect me. I think I knew about them, but I didn't know them in detail. So as a parent, I feel like it is our responsibility to help our child understand the laws. I wouldn't really do this with an elementary child. I would do this maybe starting around middle school, but definitely in high school, and help them understand the laws. Okay, I have a bonus tip when it comes to self-advocacy. And you're going to think that I'm totally mean when this comes out of my mouth, but I'm not trying to be mean. It's just one of those things that we need to do to help them learn self-advocacy skills. So it is sabotage. Yep, I said it. Sabotage. You are going to set your child up. I wouldn't do this all the time, but every once in a while, I would sabotage the situation at home to see how they react. And if they don't speak up and ask for it, then you use that as a teaching tool to help them understand self-advocacy. So an example of this would be if they have the read aloud accommodation. When it's time for you to read the next question, get up and go do a chore. See what they do. Do they just sit there? Or do they try to get your attention and say, hey, it's time for you to read this to me? Because this is going to be something that happens in the classroom. So the teacher's going to get busy. They can't just focus on one student. They're going to be all over the place. So with that, help them learn how to do this. And so instead of just sitting there and wasting time, teach them how to raise their hand, get the adult's attention so they can read it instead of just sit there. Because I know that in my resource room when I was giving tests, I had several students literally just sit there until I noticed that it was time for them to read, for me to read the next question. That's not how it should be. They should have their hand in the air or some type of thing to get the adult's attention so they're not wasting as much time. Yes, most of the time they do have extra time on the accommodations, but we should still be using that time wisely. So I would start out with little things like that. If they have the calculator accommodation, forget to give them the calculator. What do? Do they just do everything without the calculator, or do they ask you for the calculator? So little things like that to start helping. I wouldn't do it all the time, but every once in a while, do sabotage to help with a learning experience. And if they do go ahead and do it and they ask for it, I would praise them and help and still use it as a teaching example that I did this because I wanted to make sure that you are speaking up for yourself and you are getting the things that you need, because I can't always be there. So sabotage is one of the easiest and best ways to help teach those self-advocacy skills. And self-advocacy is very important. The earlier you can learn it, the better. I hope you found these 7 tips useful to help with self-advocacy, reasons why we should teach self-advocacy, and slowly how to do it through working through and leaving things out. In the next few weeks, I have more information about dyslexia, IEPs, and executive functioning coming out, and I can't wait to share this information with you. But if you are ready to get more information on dyslexia, I have a new freebie that I just released, and I can't wait to share it with you. It is called Dyslexia Toolkit, and inside of it, it has 7 myths about dyslexia followed by what is true. It has 7 facts about dyslexia and 9 advantages to dyslexia. It has so much information. So if you're trying to understand dyslexia better, this is a great starting point. So go ahead and click the link in the description and grab my newest freebie, and it will get you on the right path to better understanding dyslexia. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.